In this lesson, I want to give you a new way to look at the appearance panel and how you can use it in some actually pretty creative ways. Let me go ahead and make that a little bit bigger because we're going to need the room. We've been working with shapes, stars and ovals. I've been kind of hitting stars a lot lately for some reason. Let's change that altogether. First off, I've got a new document open, so I beat you to that. Go ahead and open up a new document. The first layer we get is layer 1. Double click on that, and let's call that backdrop. Create a new layer. Go back to backdrop for a minute. Let's draw something in here for a backdrop. Pick up your rectangle tool and give me a nice big old rectangle right about there. And I'm going to make that a nice dark fill color. Something like that. Lock it down. Click right here. And that's going to make sure that we don't go to it anymore. We don't need it anymore. We just need it as a backdrop. Go to layer 2 and double click on layer 2. Let's give that the name of Faux, as in false, neon. Leave that one selected. Come over here to the type tool. Let's get off shapes. Let's do something else here. Pick up the type tool and type the word wow on the screen. W-O-W. And it's going to be hard to see if you've got black as your color. So let's go ahead. I'm going to select that and give it something a little bit brighter so I can see it. And there it is. I'm going to pick up my selection tool. I'm going to drag that thing and just make it bigger. Hold the shift key if you want to make it in proportion. And now I got a big wow. I like the word wow because the word wow is actually the word mom upside down. Wow mom. I want a better font, thicker, beefier font, and I know the one I want. It's called Impact. So I'm going to double click and select the text, and I'm going to go up to Myriad Pro, which is the default. Now I know that Impact starts with the letter I, so it'll be alphabetized with the I's. But an easier way to get to it, if you don't want to go through them all, is actually select up here and start typing the word impact. I am, there it is. Press enter. You got it. Quick way to get there. I am at a font size of 152.28 points. I don't care. It's a visual thing for me. That's how big I want it to be. So now we've got that. Go back to the selection tool. Make sure it's selected. Go to the word type and say create outlines. We don't want it as type. Don't forget, and this is an obvious point, if you do this and you want to change it in terms of the font or you misspelled it, that boat's sailed. So make sure you like what it is before you do that. I am going to go to the word object on the pull-down menu and select ungroup. And now they're separate pieces. I'll select the W, and I'm going to move it with my arrow key a little bit this way. And I'm going to give this one space on the other side, move it to the left. This is called poor man's type tracking. All right, got it all? Let's do this. Select them all. Remember, we don't have to worry about the background. We got that locked. I'm going to reverse the colors here. Now, if I click this button right here, it will put the fill color where the stroke was and vice versa. Since we don't have a fill color anymore, we just have an outline, and that's exactly what I want. But let's play with it just a little bit more. Go ahead and select all three. Remember, you have to do this now because they're separate items. Go to the word effect, since that's what this chapter is about, and go into, let's go to warp. Now, you got a lot of different kinds of warps here. Turn on the preview. That's actually kind of neat, but that's not what I want. I think I'm going to go into bulge. That kind of jazzes it up a little bit, I suppose. Let's give it a little bit more. Like that. Fine. Click OK. The problem. The text really still is that. The W and the O, they're still there. So again, we're going to sweep across and select all of them. We're going to go to the word object and tell the computer we want to expand them, make them those shapes. Now that we're here, let's have some fun. I'm going to start with this one right here and select it. In the appearance panel, it tells us we have that stroke that's yellow. There is no fill, so everything's there. We know what it is. What I'm going to do is make sure, I believe it's this bright yellow here I want. So I'm first going to press the letter X, which brings my stroke to the forefront, and then click just to make sure. And I believe that is the color we're using, so that's fine. It does look a little bit different, so maybe I did change it. I want a bright yellow. Now I'm going to come over to my color guide. Now, the thing I love about the color guide is it gives me harmonious colors based on my main color, which is yellow. And I want this top row up here. As they go down, they get more creative, more different. These are the yellows. Change that stroke. We have it selected right here from 1 point, let's go about 6 points. So I can click this little button right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're making it thicker. Let's change the color of that stroke to something pretty dark, like one of these. Next step, we're going to grab this and we're going to drag it down on top of the new icon. We have just made another stroke directly on top of this one. So here's our original 6 point. Here's this one. Make that 4 and make that a little brighter. Now this is going to be easier to see, at least now, if I really zoom in on it. One stroke on top of another, darker, lighter. Take this one, drag it down to the new icon, and now we got a third one. Make this one 2. Change it to a brighter color. That's kind of hard to see, but it is. Let me get to my selection tool and unselect that for a second. You can see it. It's right there. It's a little bit brighter. Make sure you have it selected. Make another one. Let's make this 1 point. And let's make it really light. Kind of like that. Now when we take it down in size, let's go back down, you can begin to see it's looking a little bit more like a piece of neon as it gets darker and lighter, but we have a few more things we need to do. Let's make another one. Oh, actually, make sure you have that selected. I always forget to do that. Select it, drag it down. This one I want you to make bigger than this one down here. So it's going to cover everything. So we're going to go to about, let's try about 8. And what we want to do with it is make it nice and yellow. Let's go up to the word effect on the pull-down menu and go into blur. And let's do a Gaussian blur. Something, well, maybe a little bit more than that. Let's try a 4. This is where you have to experiment and try it. But if you come back tomorrow and you look at it and you say, kind of like a fresh set of eyes, and you go, nah, it doesn't look quite what I thought it was going to be. I kind of like that. Let's click OK. And let's do one more thing to it. This stroke, just like any other one, has an opacity. So I'm going to change the opacity a little bit, knock it down to about maybe 80. Soften it up just a little bit like that. And let's do one more thing. Let's see something here. Let's expand out the bottom stroke, the dark one, just a little bit. So if we go here and we can come up here, let's try that maybe at about an 8 or a 9 maybe. Let's see what that looks like. Actually, it doesn't look that bad. The appearance panel did all this for us. Do you realize how difficult it would be to make strokes on top of strokes that were exactly reduced in size and centered on the path? I'm not saying you can't do it, but it would be difficult. It's all happening right there in appearance. Now, I like that. I'm going to move over here and pull out my graphic styles. I'm going to add that. So we select it. Just click the button. That's all you have to do. And there it is. Now we can double click it here and give it a name. Faux Neon Yellow. Click OK. Click this one. Click the button. And click this one and click the button. I absolutely love the appearance panel. I think I've said that before. But it allows you to do so many cool, creative things. Don't forget you got it. On to the next.